All right, you already know, guys, what I have to do. Since I am a content creator and I have made a vow to suffer for the content, I shall be using the new best Queen Elizabeth on NIDHOGG. Yes, I will be suffering, I know. And she rocking her Sailor Moon outfits, looking pretty fly. So we're gonna be using this team featuring Mael, Margaret, and Matrona. Again, you're probably wondering to yourself, yo, really, why are you using Matrona? And that's because, again, if you are playing NIDHOGG, you need a buff removal character. And honestly, for goddesses, the only buff removal characters are all named Liz. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. All the buff removal characters are all named Elizabeth. So again, I can't use them, unfortunately. So I have to pretty much compromise with something weird, either being a Matrona, a Trader Meliodas, all those other options. But again, Matrona is going to be pretty nice because she can tank, heal with her passive a little bit with the regeneration rate. And again, she has stance removal. Well, not stance removal, buff removal, which is very important. I already know people are going to be like, yo, really, why are you using Matrona? And you gotta face palm yourself after that. So this is going to be my gear and stuff for NIDHOGG. This is my artifact card set, you know, the good stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe again. And let's have fun and suffer. All right, so here we go again with Marilli trying to suffer for content. Now, I really don't recommend of you doing this because obviously I'm just doing this for content. But we are going to be using the new Festival Queen Elizabeth, who seemingly is a very powerful DPS character. Now, unlike the other Lizzes, she plays a more DPS role, while the other Lizzes are more so a healer slash support, which made playing Demonic Beast on NIDHOGG very, very difficult. Just because if you ever looked at the game, you will start to realize that the only good healer are literally named Elizabeth. Like you have Green Elizabeth, you have the new LR Red Elizabeth, you have SR Red Elizabeth, who was actually really good. Those are the only really, really good, powerful healers because they play one specific role. Now, the other healers are okay in their own right, being Summer Margaret. She can heal a little bit, or Rid Magilda. The problem with those characters are that the boss really punishes a lot of players because at the final floor, you don't get too many debuffs on you on our first phase, and he does hit like a truck. So you having characters who passive are very restricted to needing a debuff to heal can really hurt you in the long run. So that's why characters like Green Elizabeth and LR Red Elizabeth are so good, because they have ultimates that can just heal. And like there's other characters who also are good in terms of doing like damage and then healing, but the problem with that is that, again, the inconsistency of characters, you know, because those characters are usually like what, humans, giants, which really don't benefit the new Liz, or you just end up having moments where pretty much you don't get your ultimates because you may be not going to pull a card. So trying to rely on those heals is going to be a very bad idea. Now again, I feel like with Liz, she can run through floor 1 pretty easily. Like, again, she is a DPS character, and her being a goddess is actually really nice because, again, goddesses are one of the best teams on NIDHOGG, especially if you have Red Elizabeth and stuff like that. I would say like Unknowns is decent too, because you know you have Freyr, you have Freya, who was actually really good. So Unknowns can also put in some work as well, but I feel like goddesses are still #1, especially because Summer Margaret, who is on the new Elizabeth banner. You guys are seeing me use Summer Margaret for the first time just because I did actually pull her. I was going to plan it on using a full goddess team, but again, like I said before, the only good support characters that are goddesses are going to be Elizabeth, and this Elizabeth does not remove buffs, So that leaves you in a tricky situation, meaning you will need a character who can remove buff, that can also tank without being named a goddess. So at first I was trying like teams like featuring like Trader Meliodas. I'm about to probably test maybe using Scotty pretty soon just to see how that goes while this video is uploading. But it's just very, very hard to play because on this phase you actually need a buff removal. So because Liz doesn't have it, it makes it very tricky to use other characters. Because if Liz had a buff removal, trust me guys, I would replace this freaking Matrona with a lat or something like that. If I had a buff removal character that was named Goddess, that was a goddess character. Because all the other goddesses can't remove buffs. It's only the Elizabeths, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully, maybe in the future, they'll make a new goddess character that can remove buffs. But at the moment, Elizabeth is going to be pretty bad. Again, if she had a character that can remove buffs and was named Goddess, she'll be so good, which is very unfortunate because they did kind of shaft a Lat's Holy Relic. I feel like if they had it like where if one of her attack cards could remove buffs, that would have been so good for the Goddess team, because then you won't have to worry about needing a Liz support character. You can pretty much use whatever then at that point. Because this Liz actually hits on the same level as Mael, actually greater than Mael in terms of this demonic beast. So her being kind of held back by not having another buff removal character, which means you have to pretty much use an empty slot, is very sucky. Also, how do you guys been you know? Because I've seen a lot of my content creators friends just hopping on to Black Clover Mobile. It seemed like they get in like some very good traction and stuff like that. I actually can't wait to see what will be the first month's sales and stuff, because I'm pretty sure the numbers are going to be in for JP sooner or later. And from what I heard with JP, that stuff is still hitting rock bottom. So that's kind of crazy, because JP and KR kind of flopped already. But the thing is that with Global is that Global has a whole different type of team, which is why it took so long for Global to come out, because they was delaying it because they felt like, you know, the game probably wasn't as good as they thought it would be. Because again, JP and KR flopped. So what's the point of bringing Global with a very bad version of that game? Because you don't want Global to flop too. So they're gonna try their best to pretty much stall it out a little bit, and maybe sooner or later, or they'll have like the more improvements, you know, to very much make sure this game lasts a very long time. Because freaking, I think like JP and KR just had a half anime and it's already a flop right now, which is kind of insane. So this is one that I had to rerun a lot, and that's because I was just misjudging my damage. As you can see, I was coming in here with like 2 ultimates. So the first one I misjudged the damage because my Margaret is a 6/6, so her ultimate did trash. So this is where I just used Liz card, and hopefully I get another Liz card or Mael card to kind of make up for that last damage. See, because you got to make sure he's below 50% or he gets an insane attack buff that lasts the entire time. And if he gets that attack buff, you're pretty much done for. I probably didn't explain why I'm using Red Matrona. It's just for the recovery factor in terms of regeneration rate. Because if she has low HP, the regeneration rates will be kind of crazy. Which kind of leads me to situations like this one where pretty much it makes it a lot easier for me to heal up without needing a true legit healer. And you can see I reset it again. The screen about to be fixed in a minute. That's because I forgot that every time I'm resetting I have to fix the screen for the gameplay, because I always have the game in like full screen mode. So it's gonna probably be fixed right about here. I probably looked at it. Yeah, you see I fixed it. So again, that's why I'm using Red Matrona. It's just for the regeneration rate. You see, like, look how much I just healed up, like 100k which is just nutty. And then I just end up just probably attacking with Margaret. Like if I had like maybe dupes on Margaret, maybe my run could be a lot better when using characters like Matron and stuff like that. Just because I would do a lot more damage. But I don't know. It's just like the team is just bad. If I'm struggling, a person with like 13 mil box CC, then this team probably isn't the best team. And this is just floor 2. I didn't even show y'all floor 3 yet. Like it's just that unfortunately goddesses have no support characters or characters in general. The most of the characters that Never will really build are going to be like original characters, which are going to be unknowns, humans, demons, and stuff like that. Like it's all those type of characters. So I reset again, and the only reason why I reset is because I felt like I wanted to finish him off. Because all I need is double crits with Liz, and I'll be good. Which it looks like I'm about to get the double crit right here, which means GG. Because again, Liz hits like a truck on here. All she needs is a goddess character that can remove buffs and possibly heal, and she's good. Now we're going to show you floor 3. Floor 3 has a lot of difficulties just because, again, I don't have a main healer. So this boss hits like a truck on floor 3 phase 1. You don't want to try to stall this out. You don't want to try to stall, especially if you don't have like a true healer. Because then he starts hitting you like a truck. Most of the time you got to make sure and be careful of his effects. You can definitely see like sometimes when he's looking at to the left of his gray debuffs or buffs, if you need to use like certain cards, because there is a moment where you're playing this boss mode where if he has like a gray stance, you have to use a throwaway card, being either a buff or stance, because then he locks you for 2 turns with that card that you use first. You can see I used the buff card first, and you can see the gray buff about to pop up on me. And now I don't have to worry too much about him having a same tag boost because I did remove his buffs as well. And then I'm just pretty much just trying to stall. Again, he does have like a gauge where you pretty much got to hold onto ultimates and gold cards. Finish him off. So that is also a really tricky issue. That's why I say you need like a main legit healer when you're playing against this boss. Because if you don't have a legit healer, it just makes the game mode like a lot harder. Like look how much I'm stalling right now. So now I finally got a gold card and I have 3 ultimates. These 3 ultimates are going to be really good for me because then I can pretty much take away 33% of his gauge. So all I have to do is just spam my ultimate and then use 1 random card. Now again, I don't recommend Liz on Nidhogg, and you guys are going to find out right here because I didn't realize this as I was playing until I looked on the left of the bar. But there's going to be something interesting happen right here. Okay? So you see I'm using my Liz cards. Now, Liz has a passive where pretty much at the 4th, like if she has 4 wings and she uses a single target, she has a stun / stance cancel. Now, if you've been watching this gameplay and stuff like that, you would have noticed that multiple times I would have the 4 stance cancels, and it would never stance cancel on floor 1, floor 2, or floor 3 at all, because they would have lost a grade debuff stack. But as you saw right there, he lost a grade debuff stack, which means at the 4th one, it led to a stance cancel. Now, I don't know why it did that. But it led to a stance cancel because this is the only time I've seen the stance cancel actually happen. Again, all the other times I played with Elizabeth during floor 1 and floor 2, there was no stance cancel effect, which made this run a lot harder for her because it basically means that I won't be able to use her single targets when she has 4 wings. It's kind of interesting because I should have tested a little bit more to see how far that stance cancel thing can go. Like if he's pulling up a stance like right here, can I just use like Liz single target card instead of Margaret's? I was actually wondering if I could do things like that, but I didn't get a chance to because obviously I failed with Matrona. That's because again, I don't have a legit healer, so it made the run pretty much impossible to win. And then Matrona about to be gone right here, and that's gonna be pretty much GG of the run. So hopefully you guys enjoy me playing with the Queen Elizabeth on Nidhogg. Again, I just feel like she needs a goddess character who can move buffs and is a legit healer, and she'll be fine. But at the moment right now, she doesn't have it, so LR Elizabeth will be a lot better, or green. So hopefully you guys enjoy. This from Marilli, guys, and I'm out. Peace.